That yeah, you would yeah.
Yeah,
It's
can
a
you
lot, I
imagine
would
being in a
imagine.
car that puts you back 2.5 Gs?
No,
You
that's
black out, man.
yeah. No, that's I've been blacked out in a car before, and it wasn't a smart thing to do. It wasn't because of
You gotta
G's.
leave the Jim Beam at home.
It was because of beams, not G's. That's yeah. That's. But I mean, that's. But
Well,
that's.
it might have been G's. Could have been Guinness.
That's a lot of Guinness.
That would be a lot of Guinness.
To get blackout drunk, is
Yikes.
a ton of Guinness, man. Oh man. You have to know what the hell you're buying, or you have to hear it. I can't buy this stuff.
You got to get a feel for it.
Yeah, so I've only purchased a few amps in my day.
Mm-hmm.
I purchased that C30 red, the Vox.
Right.
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 And it was used. It was a vintage, and it was on the floor. And I called my wife's cousin's husband, who's in the business, and said, "I'm looking at a Vox here." Gave him the year, and he said, "Is it red?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Buy it. Buy it right now."
Oh yeah. Well, no, that's a case of
He said, "Do not."
collectability issue.
I said, "What if it doesn't work?" He said, "Buy it."
Yeah,
Buy it
that's
right
a case
now.
of collectability value.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, you can never go wrong with a piece that's popular and collectible.
yeah.
You know,
But that's the only one
that
that
guitar that I mentioned earlier that
Yeah.
I bought for $1,600 and was totally disappointed with it. Within a few years, zoomed to $12,000 at one point.
Right, right.
And even today, I think they've dropped back down. Now they're around 5,000.
Right.
But I paid $1,600 for it.
Yeah.
And that was full pop retail plus tax.
Okay.
So
And I
knew?
got an acoustic crate which I bought from you and listened
Mm-hmm.
to it and loved the sound of it. I've got my Roland Boat,
yeah,
which I bought from you.
very cool.
Loved the sound of it. You refurbed that, what is it, 67 Jazz Fender
67 Bandmaster.
Bandmaster,
Yeah.
which killer. Are amps the same way?
Amps are a
I've
little
never
less.
I've never just bought one without hearing it.
Amps are a little less than guitars in this one respect, that electronics are a little bit more consistently manufactured than wood.
And
matters
that's it. What is
where
the
it
parts of
grows.
there? Does the cabinet,
Okay.
does the wood of the cabinet, does that matter, or is it just quality and how it's put
I'm
together
not going to say
matter
it
more?
doesn't matter for two reasons. Number one, most of your old vintage Fenders were pine, 3/4 pine,
Uh-huh.
naughty pine in a lot of cases. And say like a Marshall would have
Yeah.
been made out of Baltic birch. And
Yeah.
we certainly know that a Marshall cabinet, even with a Fender head plate through it, does not sound the same as a Fender cabinet with a Fender head plate through it, or vice versa.
Okay, so the wood is
The
it
wood
is
does-
it the speaker? Is it the wood, or is it the way they put it together? Is it the
Well,
is it
that's
the
where
is
it
it
gets,
the
that's where the
is
rubber
it the
meets
glue?
the road.
Is it the tightness of it? Is it because it's
I don't think
because
that-
it's an open back or it's a closed back? I mean,
Well, now your siding designs that do matter and your siding designs that don't matter.
okay, good.
Okay.
This is good. I'm bringing out education for people.
I don't think that some of the minutia stuff like details of glue or perhaps joints, okay, and like a box joint versus a dado joint or something to that effect. I'm not sure that has that big an effect as compared to
Okay.
the specifications of the speaker itself.
Okay, so hold that thought for just 1 second. I want you to come back to that, but I want to
Okay.
stop and go. Okay. Joints, glue.
Okay.
Less of an effect
guitar,
than
though.
finish and glue on a guitar?
No, on a guitar, I feel like they do have a bigger.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're less so
because-
effective on an amp than on a
Because of
guitar.
the way the device works.
Okay, so it's the way that okay, gotcha. Because you always say, eventually on these ones they open up. You talk-
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And that is a finish. That is part of the finish.
Right.
Because,
Okay, so on an amp, it's just because of the type of instrument that it's. Because an amp is an instrument, is it not? I mean, you don't play
I
it, but it's
consider-
part of it because it's making the
I
sound.
consider an amplifier the other half of the electric guitar.
Right, because you got a piano and you just can't. You don't just have keys.
This
you have
is-
to have the box that resonates and the sound comes
This is
out.
the
Right?
this is the voice box,
Yes.
but the amplifier is the resonating chamber.
Okay. All right. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I was mixing design with materials, I guess. Designs that do matter and things that don't.
Mm-hmm.
So wood, joints, glue do matter in an amp, but much less so than the actual electronics and the design of it, as opposed to a guitar, or they have a bigger effect.
Yeah. Well,
Did I say
yeah.
that right?
Maybe. I
It's
got a little
possible.
lost.
I don't know.
That's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
Let's
it gets-
continue with the amps, though, because
well,
the
amps-
question was what
Amps,
the materials.
most of the parts of an amp are man-made.
Yeah.
The only part that's really not is the wood of the cabinet, and
Yes.
most of that is what I consider a body or hanger to hang all the parts in. If you know what I'm saying.
Less than something
Le-
that is
less-
actually going to contribute to the
Less
sound.
integral to the operation of the amp as it is the holding together of the amp.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Okay. Yes, it does.
The
Absolutely it
only
does.
the only caveat to that is obviously the speaker counts and the airspace of the box counts.
And the structure inside it.
Any structures.
When
that
you
are
mean
inside it,
airspace, you mean the design of the space as well, right? Because you can have dead
Absolutely.
pockets and you can have trapped zones where you
Right.
have too much
And
reverberation.
The baffle boards and
Yeah.
the back plates can come into play with
Yes.
the larger the cabinet, the bigger the area, the more that can come into play. Okay, smaller cabinets, less so.
Yeah.
But most of the components that are in an amplifier are man-made.
Yeah.
Tubes, transformers, resistors,
Capacitors, resistors, yeah.
transistors, all
Yes.
that stuff is
Yeah, yeah,
man-made.
yeah.
So therefore, it's a little more
Diode, cathode, electrode,
it's a little more
generator,
consistent.
oscillator, make a circuit with me. Who was that wrote that song?
Oh,
Do you remember that song?
yeah, I don't. Sorry.
You don't?
Run through it again.
Diode, cathode, electrode, Romolo, generator, oscillator, make a circuit with me. Dun, 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 dun. You don't remember that song? It's like 80s or late 70s. Anyways.
For a split second, I thought I had it, but now I don't.
Yeah, it's not the Vapors. Vapors were, I'm turning Japanese.
For a minute, I thought it was REM.
No. Yeah,
We survived.
right. That 70s show is accurate as hell, isn't
Dude,
it?
I got some terrifying photographs of me in polyester knit.
Me
Yikes.
too. Butterfly collars and the
Oh,
whole deal,
man.
dude. Oh, man.
Mud chops.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, mud
Sweet.
chops.
So, yeah, most of it is man-made and most of it is there for power, like the head.
Right.
The cabinet and construction of the cabinet has absolutely no effect on the head, how the head is going to work. If it's put, the electronics are together. Does it matter if that thing is sitting inside a cabinet or not? The head, it could be just sitting out on its board, could it not?
It could. Now I'm gonna throw this at you, see what you think. It's a kind of a known fact that Tweed amps, with the design that they used, which had the chassis mounted
Inside.
facing up with
Yeah.
the tubes hanging down, right
Okay.
immediately behind the speaker.
Yes.
It's a known fact that they will get what's known as tube ring or filament ring, because the speaker vibrations will make the filaments in the tubes rattle, because it's right there. It's
Yeah.
just literally right. The speaker's moving right here, and the tubes are hanging right there.
Okay.
So when that occurs, that's a mechanical issue. Now I'm not saying that mechanical issue is good or bad. It's just kind of a known effect of that design.
It's like the sproing in a soft tail Strat.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there you go.
It's there, so the effect is there.
So you
But
can't. It's
I'm
a
looking
thing
at a
that-
PV
it's a design
half
issue
stack.
You can't ignore.
I'm looking at a PV half stack.
Okay.
That head could be built out of anything as long as the electronics are the same, right? It would make no difference.
You could. Are you talking about
Just
you
the
know,
head.
with anything that is not
It's not in the cabinet whatsoever.
nothing, as long as it's not built out of something that would interfere with the electrical design.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then I would.
I mean,
agree
yeah, you
with
can't
that.
build it out of magnets. Of course, that'd be an interesting.
Should be experiment to run.
Saw
Who
that,
knows what
saw
kind
that
of-
light in your eye.
Who knows what
and
kind
wait
of
till you see
interesting
this
things would occur.
when you see one of the shop talks that's coming up. You'll go, oh God, he's gonna do it because he's got a crazy ass thing back there. I walked in here the other day and he goes, "Hey man, check this out." I'm like, "Oh no."
One of my evil projects. Is
Let
come
me
home to
lock the
roost.
let me lock the front door. Make sure the authorities don't come in. This is insane.
Yeah, it's a.
Let me ask you this though: what has been the in the amp in the cabinets? Has there been much changes? I mean, they've been square.
yeah.
They've been square forever, haven't they?
They have, but I will say there's been a lot of ideas that were very cool that have come along that people didn't cotton to for whatever reason and just ignored it and it just fell into obscurity.
And why would that be?
Well, like I said before, guitar players are very traditionally minded. They're not as open-minded as, say, bass players, who really seem to be trying to establish a firm, solid ground for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're more open to things like having, preamps and active pickup systems in their guitars,
Mhm.
and
I've got one.
you
I
know,
like it.
really incredibly complex amplifiers and multiple EQ systems. You know, one on the guitar, one on the floor, one on the amp. They'll go to great lengths to
Matter.
to differentiate themselves from a guitar.
Yes.
Guitar players, on the other hand, they all want a Gibson Fender or Marshall Fender. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they want.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like to deviate from tradition too much, because I don't know why that is.
I like orange and Vox the best.
Orange is very cool, but it's a sound that is its own.
It is.
But you know, if you think about it, people say
It
this
reminds
all the
me
time.
of cream.
People ask me all the time, "What do you think about Rickenbacker?" I love Rickenbacker. I think it's cool, but it's not for everybody.
It's not for me. I don't do.
And other people, they say that about Gretsch too.
Yeah.
What do you think about Gretsch? Oh, I love Gretsch. I'm a big Gretsch fanatic. I'm very on with Gretsch, but it's not for everybody.
No, they're not. Then that's why they're all out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're all out there.
Yeah, there's as many ways to build a guitar as there are makers building them.
Idea.
But I do hold with this one idea.
Okay.
You can take an inexpensive guitar and put it through a really well-built, nice amp, and it will sound good. You cannot do the reverse.
Prince's Telly was like $150 guitar.
Yeah.
It was a cheap piece of crap.
You put
In the
that through
hands of
nice
a
amp,
freaking master
it sounds great.
and some of the best sound guys on the planet, probably.
Well, yeah.
And he killed it.
Yeah. But
Of course, it was also in the hands of Prince,
taking,
which is, you know, you
but
could probably
try
play a
taking-
twig that way.
Try taking a really nice, expensive handmade guitar and putting that through a Gorilla
Yeah.
amplifier, you
Yeah.
know, or one of those type of amps. You're not going to get the same thing.
Yeah.
So the quality of the guitar is for the player's playability. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
for him to interact with directly the best he can.
Mm-hmm.
But the amplifier is all about magnifying that ability.
Yeah, but you can run it through a head and really clean up that tone, man. You can clean up a lot of stuff with a
Yeah,
good
but it doesn't
head.
have to be a head. A combo can do that too.
Well, yeah, you can run through, yeah.
But the point is
proper
that
combo, yeah.
high quality amp, high quality guitar, guaranteed high quality sound 90% of the time, probably 99% of the time. But you start monkeying around with a high quality guitar and a low quality amp, you're usually going to end up with something you don't like.